This is the Jon and Tam GAM Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. I know it has been a minute, but we are back. Welcome to the Jon and Tam GAM Podcast. I am your co-host, Jon, and this is my girlfriend, Tammy.
Hello, guys.
Sorry. I know we try to do these like every week, to the best of our ability, but yeah, the holidays got in the way of that. But also, around like late November, Tammy got involved in a little incident. But I'll let you tell the story, hon. Go ahead.
I think it was November 20 something. In the 20, it was a Friday, but I was biking to work with my electric bike, and there's a construction worker been working there for months. So I merged into a bike into a car lane, trying to speed up because I saw yellow light. I can't stop in time. So I used my electric speed up, and somehow I hit a car, and the car bounced back, hit me, and then I got injured and had to do a surgery because I broke my collarbone.
Yeah, it was awful, ladies and gentlemen. She never had an injury like that before. Thankfully, her family helped her out. I helped her out a bit, getting her to surgery and helping her with other necessities. But now you're doing better, right? Your shoulders. How much on a scale from 1 to 10? How much pain does the shoulder hurt?
Right now it's just like 5 because I'm getting physical therapy now, so it's getting better.
That's good. I'm glad to hear it. Today's topic, we just thought we'd do a little retrospective on the year 2025. Is currently now the year 2026, but we thought we'd talk about the highs and lows. That was one of the lows that she went through. But overall, definitely 2025, at least for me, was a better year than 2024. Like 2024 was just an existential like end of an era. Like my last living grandparent had passed. My relationship with my engagement had ended after 5 years, and so many um, memories and experiences just kind of tossed aside. You ever get that feeling of like you have all these when you're with somebody previously, you have all these these walls of your pictures together, and then they're gone, and then you had all these plans that fell through because you broke up. It just it just kind of it just comes to an abrupt halt. And so it's been a last year since I last so almost a year since I last saw my ex, and we're not looking to be friends anytime soon. I you know and I'm like acquaintances with one or two people I went out with, but it doesn't sound like I know from the sound of it you don't really have any type of friendship with any guy you've dated, right? Hello.
Yeah?
You don't have any type of friendship with any guy you've dated?
No.
That was another. So yeah, those are some of the the lows of more. So 2024, but transition in 2025. I think we had a lot of celebrity deaths this year, and I think Ozzy Osbourne, Hulk Hogan, Michael Madsen, a lot. I think the one that really kind of hit me the most was Brian Wilson. Yeah, he was 82 years old. But you know, it, yeah, it's still pretty sad because he got me through. His music got me through some tough times. I wasn't the biggest Beach Boys fan growing up, but ever since lockdowns happened, I started listening to Pet Sounds. I started listening to started watching the film Love and Mercy, and because growing up, I was like I'm a lifelong Beatles fan, and I like the Rolling Stones. I like the Who. I like grunge bands like Nirvana. I've also liked like the emo bands, like Linkin Park, Three Days Grace. And my biggest favorite band of all time is Oasis, which kind of has like a good somewhere in between of like the Beatles and like that dark new metal music. And then with the Beach Boys, it's interesting. Like they're, I feel like you gotta be like you gotta be I feel like once you reach a certain point in your life, you reach a certain age, you don't like you don't like you go back and you listen to the songs and like some songs are kind of like yeah dreary or more, you're looking for a more upbeat song. Like you listen to something like Pet Sounds like Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder. It's not really it's kind of not really a it's a very melodramatic song, but so when you really listen to it, especially during the pandemic, where you're not really able to go out much, and you're in a long distance relationship, you kind of have to find coping mechanisms to deal with that. And the Beach Boys were, for me, that coping mechanism, particularly Brian Wilson, like getting into their music and getting really into Don't Worry Baby, and then I Got You. I mean, obviously, I think your first exposure to the Beach Boys was Full House, and then I got you into them. Yeah, I think mostly, I think what was really interesting connection is like this was we had met months before Brian had passed, but you are both you and him are both June 20th. And I thought that was interesting. And then, yeah, in your dating profile, you expressed like you're a big Disney fan. And I thought, well, I know Brian Wilson did a Disney cover album, so I showed you that, and then I showed you Surfer Girl, which was inspired by When You Wish Upon a Star. Similar chord progression. Like I think the it's it's a minor instead of a major chord or something like that. I'm not really good at the key graphs. Music. I don't like music. I don't really read music notes or things like that. But yeah, I mean, like yeah, that was Full House for you, right? With
Yeah.
your introduction to the Beach Boys.
Yeah, this is the first time I heard that song. I didn't know it was before until I look up and I remember, and you told me a couple months ago too. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. Uh. And yeah, no, and then for me, and then my first introduction was like the Chipmunks. They they did like this special with hosted by Will Smith in 1990s, rocking through the decades. They did a bunch of other bands, and of course they did the Beach Boys, and then that kind of gave me this colloquial narrative that the Beach Boys are this like gimmicky band, like talk about the surf and the ocean and the beach and cars, but that wasn't really entirely what they were about. There was another side of them too. They were into experimental music, and I really, you see, really, as you get older, you really grow to appreciate like songs like off of Pet Sounds, and of course, they released the unreleased Smile through the Smile Sessions compilation albums, and you hear like narratively like what he was going for. And yeah, no, both Pet Sounds and Smile are definitely amongst one of the greatest experimental rock albums absolutely, um, in the history of music. Like I put it up there with like Sergeant Pepper and the Who's Tommy. Just in terms of like ambition, doesn't even have to be like really a concept album. It's just like the ambition to have a narrative, like how like kind of like how you think about the movie Fan. One of my favorite Disney movies of all time is Fantasia, and how the music just kind of like it's synchronized with the animation. Just the way the music in the animation in Fantasia is synchronized. Like I feel like bands like the Who and the Beach Boys and Beatles a bit, and Queen, they all had like these ideas of trying to like do something bombastic, and like everyone wants to release their magnum opus. um like everyone, like you go back to Beethoven, like people like to consider his Ninth Symphony his magnum opus. Like everybody knows like that, those notes. And so I think with people like Brian Wilson, who wants to like to be like a maestro kind of like person, like more like Leonard Bernstein. Leonard Bernstein was also somebody who like saw like appreciated the notes of a music. Like there's a segment where I mean, Bled and Bernstein's like a very like he's a composer. He's like a music. Uh, he was in a few like a concierge of like music history, and a consort, if you will. And he would always like justify
Mm.
like the Beatles music, and he was also, yeah, he had Brian Wilson he had once had Brian Wilson on the program playing Surfs Up, and that's probably something similar to what like I think he like I mean he says it's not his magnum opus, but I feel like like the way he was playing it, it felt like he was trying to do something timeless, like Mason raise the fire. Do, 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 do. Like he was trying to like have the notes like he was trying to tell a story. I feel like, but it wasn't a linear story. It was more abstract, kind of like how Fantasia, like particularly like the opening one, Toccata and Fugue, where it's just like the rest of the movie is mostly just like there's characters, there's animation with the like with Mickey Mouse, but you remember the opening of Fantasia, do like it's just abstract animation that goes along with music. The idea, I feel like, with Toccata and Fugue's opening segment of Fantasia is like you want to like it's like if music had like a visual interpretation, like what would that look like? And I think that's what they were trying to capture with Fantasia. So I think sometimes when you're trying to do a concept album with music, you're trying to like have like you're trying to build to like a three act like a structure. Like the music has like a first structure, second structure, third structure. They have the verses, the chorus, the middle eight. It's all trying to go from a beginning and a middle and an end. Like even like something like, for example, like something like the Beatles' Abbey Road. Like it starts off with "You Never Give Me Your Money," and then it ends with the end. But like all those tracks, that's part of the called the long one, or the Abbey Road medley. Some of those tracks have somewhat to do with each other, but for the most part, they're just telling abstract stories. It's just what you can do with music, not what you're like. Because it's not like a movie, where a movie has a plot from like from like a act one, act two, act three, and you're following certain characters for a certain period of time, going from one place to another. Music you could go in any direction with. So that's what I really appreciate about like what really I think the music of Brian Wilson helped me get through and get me through the tough times. Like the way he played, the way he articulated his music skills I think will be a lost art. I don't think there was never really anyone like him before. I don't think there'll ever be anyone like him again. I feel like he is a once in a lifetime kind of composer, musician, artist, and my biggest regret is I never got to see him live. I was a little late to the party for the Beach Boys, and I just never was quite at that level to because I wasn't also really like I'm also very big cherry picker with going to concerts, but yeah, that's all I got to say about that. I mean, I can think of a few other lows that happened to me this. I mean, obviously the biggest low for you was the passing of your grandma.
Yeah, that was sad. I still thinking about it.
And like mine died almost 2 years ago, and it's double sad because like again 2024 is just a year. I mean that year there's a lot of things that you could list that make that year really bad, but yeah, 2024 was just a really bad, like I guess except for meeting me, sounds like 2025 for you was like 2024 for me. Although I don't know, did you have a pretty good 2024?
Mm, at the beginning, but starting July, I just found out that I got autism from my doctor. That's the only thing
You
that
you got
brings
the
down.
official diagnosis?
Yeah, in July in
Why
2024.
and why do you think it took so long?
I never got diagnosed until my sister told me to go test out because she saw something wrong with me.
And she didn't notice it until what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, about two years ago, told me to get tested.
Mm. And for all the thing is, being diagnosed with autism doesn't have to be considered a bad thing. I mean, I guess it depends on how you respond to it. Like if I like my response to it was not frustration or sadness. It was more when I found out I had it, I was like confused. Like, okay, what does that mean? Like what does like what do I say or do that's different from, like, say, I guess the term is neurotypical, like people who don't have
Mhm.
any diagnoses. Like what I guess it's all about behavior. It's not really about intelligence, because there are people on the spectrum that are like, Albert Einstein, and some people might say Brian Wilson, Newton. Some people might say Amelia Earhart was on the spectrum. A lot of smart people in the world were on the spectrum. So it's not like an intellectual disorder, really. I mean, I guess the way you interpret the world, it can be, but it's you can it's only a negative diagnosis if you allow it to be. You can, because you have some unique skills. You have better skills, you have certain abilities that I struggle with sometimes. Like, you're able to keep tabs on things better, and you're really smart with computers. I think you're awesome, and if people don't tell you that enough, then I'm sorry.
Yeah, sometimes they don't.
It's not right. But that's it for in terms of lows. I can't really think of anything else. I mean, I guess, like, I was upset about losing some things, but or just got things stolen. But let's see, highs. Obviously, I think anything I got to do with you was always a just it made my day. I always had a good day.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. I always have a good day hanging out with you. That hanging out with you is the best.
I don't know if I've said this on the air before, but can I tell you that I love you?
Yeah,
I
I
I,
love you too.
yes, I love you as well. Um, I gotta just say, like, the I don't think I've ever had a girlfriend or a partner that's ever been so involved in the activities I like to do as you have. And it's in not all of them, but like, I could just think of, like, I think a lot of the favorite highlights of the year was cosplaying with Omid, the three of us doing the Straw Hats and the Power Rangers.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was definitely, 'cause I've never done, I've done, I mean, I've dressed up with partners, but in terms of, like, going to, like, a nerdy convention and masquerading around, I can't really say I've done that. But I mean, like, I've dressed up with them. We did, like Halloween themes, and we did some other, like, themes at, like, theme parks and things like that. But no, I mean, I guess I mean, like, I think the closest was, like, we went to Cherry Blossom Festival, and just, yeah, just, the anime, comic book, geek culture just never really grabbed their attention, like, say, like that, yeah, it grabbed your attention. And I know, like, I mean, I'm sure you've been aware of what cons were over the years, but
Yeah.
you've never, I'm sure you've wanted to go to one, but I guess for one reason or another, you never partook. Do you know why that might have been?
I don't know, because I have no reason to go to. Yeah. And now I have reason to hang out with you or me and just having fun.
Oh, shucks. Well, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad. I know Mead really wanted us to go to Sac with him this weekend, but it was raining, and you had to get back home, and
Yeah.
but we'll there'll be plenty of conventions. I know Fanime in
Mhm.
May is definitely the top of the priority. We'll try to. I have an idea of what I want to do for CWF. Um, I know, like I think at Fanime they do 2 night events. They have their shows called Fanimania, so it's like the big show of the year in the Bay Area for the CWF community. So yeah, so yeah, those were some highlights. And going to Disneyland with you was a big one.
And yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it
I
was.
gotta go finally go Disneyland with a partner.
Yeah, I mean, it was my. I think it was it was my fifth time going. It was my fourth time going with a girlfriend, but fifth time going overall because I went once when I was a kid, and then I went. So like the 3 times I went there with my ex, it was the first time was with her sister and her boyfriend at the time, and then I think the second time was just me and her, and then the third time was her parents joined us, and then the only other, I've been to the Disneyland parks about 6 times, to like Disneyland Park in general 6 times because I went to Disney World in 2019 to celebrate my 30th. It was my first time doing a trip, doing a Disney trip solo. So I usually go with people, although it kind of worked out in that favor because it was actually right before the pandemic and it was on a Thursday, so it wasn't that busy, and I got to do a few of the things there that I wanted to do, and yeah, that was a good. Yeah, so yeah, Disneyland. We made some new friends, and I think celebrating my birthday weekend was nice. We got to stay in the hotel down in Petaluma, and you got to meet my friend Spencer, and my
Yep.
dad was there, and then we spent the day in San Francisco on my actual birthday, and saw Jess
Yeah.
McCartney. I mean, the weather kind of sucked, but what are you gonna do? Then Benny Hanna's on Sunday.
Yep. And then I got you your favorite gift.
You got me the Stratocaster, which, yep, I've
Mm-hmm.
been one of these days I'm gonna play it in the park with um your thing your adapter, your power
Power
generator.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, one of these days we will it'll
Yeah, we
happen.
tried to play that Christmas Day. We didn't. We forgot to. We forgot there was no alley outside.
The holiday presents were nice. I know you
Mm-hmm.
got me a few things. Mom got me the Funko Pop Beach Boys. You got me some like photos. I think you got what? Let's see, what'd you get me on the what'd you get me on the holidays again? I
I
remember we
got
got.
you the. Let me see. Power Ranger that key that necklace you lost, and then
Yes.
a projector.
Which one?
The screen protector. The projector.
Oh
I
yeah,
forgot. Is that what?
yeah, that screen projector,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah. We just
Yeah.
set that up the other day, and then yeah, and then you got me some gift cards. You got me a $20 Subway gift card. You got me a few.
Yeah.
You got me a Uber. You treated me with your Uber points and or Uber
Mm-hmm.
funds, and um yeah. Then also I got Pokemon ZA for Switch 2, which I've been playing quite a bit
Yeah.
of,
Your
probably
mom
more
said
than I,
you spend hours playing.
yeah. Oh, and then I think doing the starting the global dungeons role play was, and you just we expanded to do it on Discord the other night, and
Yeah.
I want to ladies and gentlemen, I want to formally congratulate Tammy here on winning her first role play championship.
Yep.
She is
I didn't know
the
what I was doing.
Yep. Yeah.
That's the one.
It's just like the games can be a little unpredictable at times, and you just it's just it's all about it's I mean it's all it's you got to utilize skills, but other times it's just chance. I remember one time, like, I was not expected to win like this elimination match for the world championship in the role play I was in, and I ended up doing it, and it's much to the shock of everyone. I don't know how I pulled it off, but I did. And yeah, I mean, I had it for a couple months, and then had it retained it at one point, and then dropped it, and which is it was fun, and and then on the global dungeon. So yeah, right now we're a faction of luchadors. We're stars, the rising stars. I play Green Star, the current world champion, and up until recent also tag team champion. Which along with my friend, KS Leo, who's Travis been on the show. He's Black Star. He's the Seven Seas champion and tag team champion. Omid's Red Star, and then another friend of mine, Mr. MT. He's Blue Star, and yeah, so it's like yeah, we all have the gold, that available gold from promotion right now. But we'll see. We're an ever growing, role play, and it'll be interesting to see where things go from here. And I'm having fun with it. I feel like I'm having a lot of fun using the Sora app, like to play the game, because back when I
Yeah,
was
too
playing the
much
game,
fun.
yeah, because back when because you saw like all the AI videos I did earlier today, um, trying to create a story with, because back then when I was doing the role play from 2020 to 2022, we didn't really have like the AI features we have now. So utilizing that feature, um, like I think it immensely like enhances the game experience. Plus, it's also a lot of fun because sometimes, I had to like actually visualize what we were saying, what we were doing. Um, Whereas with Sora, you can actually, use a visual cue to know what you're doing. And I know apparently recently they done live stream of the game, like because they'd been continuing up to this point, and then the guy, like the guy I had a bit of a shoot interview, a shoot podcast episode on Lucha Dolor. He had to step down and end his game because of a family issue, and one of the I mean I'm kind of like kind of regretting that episode now. I was, but it was obviously that it was before I found out about before he stepped down, before the family issue, that I was upset, and really ruined my week. I was really upset about that, but it turned out for the best, because I mean, had he accepted me, it would have ended anyway. It just sucks that it ended on bad terms with the guy. Because I know he's just trying to make it a trying to keep his game like you know he's trying to like have order. Without order, it'd all be chaos. you know and I while and I'm trying to find order too. Thankfully, people have been just kind of chill about it. Like, they haven't really like had input on their character or storylines. Everyone just been kind of like letting me just kind of like do the cutscenes. Like, that's what it feels like with Sora. It feels like I'm creating video game cutscenes or movie cutscenes or show wrestling show cutscenes to like a real life wrestling show, and people are just kind of like along for the ride and just like participating. It feels like they're like um like participants than actual players, but it's still. I mean, I'm either way. It works. I'm glad I'm enjoying it. I'm glad you're enjoying it too. Even though I know you're not really like into wrestling, but neither is Omid. But he still enjoys it. Because we
Yeah,
I guess I kind of make it fun. And I know your brother said he used to watch pro wrestling, so you probably got a
yeah,
little bit of exposure to that.
it's fun trying new things.
And I'm glad, and I hope I do enough things with you too.
Yeah, it does.
I'm glad. So I'm gonna wrap this up. And so, are there any other highs you can think of? I mean, our trip to Reno for New Year's was fun.
Oh, hi! You should tell him we want some money.
Well, you won most of it. I won like
Yeah,
I won a little, but you won on like 80 bucks, and I won like 10 bucks. But yeah, we
yeah.
both we both we both got some money from our trip. We built a snowman. That was definitely a good way to
In the
finish
year.
end the year, because I actually have not been outside the state of California since May of 2024. So I got to leave this because I mean, yes, I flew, but I flew down to Southern California, so this was actually my uh, first time going out of the state in a year and a half. Which is funny because the last time I was not in the state was in Nevada, although that was in Las Vegas versus Reno. Although Reno seems very, in a lot of ways, kind of feels like a smaller Las Vegas. Like, it has a similar vibe. I mean, maybe that's just the how the it's just like well, whereas Las Vegas is a desert, Reno's in the mountains. I mean, that's really like it's like one's hot, one's cold, and one there's different layouts obviously, but I mean you've been to both Vegas and Reno before, so
Yeah, yep.
I mean that's really the only differences I can think of. Like I don't have all day to really like think about
Explain it.
the difference. But yeah, listen, I think we'll wrap this up here. I'm gonna, I mean, I'll try to upload this video maybe on Thursday or Friday. Um,
Yeah.
and then yeah, definitely do this again. I miss doing this with you, so I'm really glad we got to finally get another episode out to start the new year. And I'm hoping that 2026 is a better year for everyone. We'll definitely have our ups and downs for this year as well, but hopefully it'll be just overall improvement over 2025. Even though I think the best part of that year was being with you.
Yeah, it's about for me too. You make me happy every time.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys, to this latest episode of the Jon and Tam GAM Podcast. We are looking forward to the next show, and I hope everybody has a nice, safe new year.